Hey guys, sorry we missed you. Let's go through everything so you don't miss a thing. So, little heads up, we're working on our task list number 2. When it comes to due dates, this is important. It's due on December 8th if you're A-Day, 9th if you're B-Day, and that's not at 11:59 p.m. No, it's actually the minute before you come to class. So, for example, if your third block in class starts at 12:31, it's due at 12:30. And if your eighth block and class starts at 2 o'clock, it's due at 1:59. So right before you come to class on that day. Don't forget, this is a mastery summative grade, which in quarter two, remember, that's 22.5% of your entire quarter two grade. So big deal. Let's find out what it is. So your task list is going to actually involve 4 things. You're going to have to set a personal goal. Again, you're going to have to go ahead and research a scholastic genre. Not a big deal. We'll talk about that. We're going to go ahead and draft a piece for scholastic competition, which is actually pretty fun. Actually, it is. And then finally, you want to go and prepare your final draft, revise and edit, and also reflect on your reading. So we're going to actually set our reading goal first. So what we want you to do is go to Schoology, go to your yellow folder. Now go to your new orange folder and go ahead and click on Workshop Task List number 2. I'll actually pause for you to do just that. Good. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to need to do here, okay? We're going to set a new reading goal. Remember, for your new reading goal, it's important you choose a new reading goal that, should be, number one, should be different, meaning it shouldn't be the same as your previous goals from October and November. It should also be challenging, meaning that you should struggle just a tiny bit on this. Otherwise, you're not going to grow. Meaning it should be motivating because if you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it. And also achievable, which is 2 parts. So, number one, do you have easy access to these books? And number two, is this something you can actually finish by December 8th? So, these are your potential goals. They're right here. Go ahead and pause so you can read them. Good. Hope you chose a goal that was new. You haven't done it before. Challenging. You have to struggle a little bit. Something that actually is motivating. You actually want to do, and something you can actually get done in the time frame. So this is where we're going to set that goal, right? So what we want you to do is go ahead and click on that first task number 1. Your screen should look like this. Once it does, click on that first link that you see right there. You're going to get this list that we just saw. All I want you to do is copy paste your goal right into that first box. Any blanks or any highlight areas, go ahead and fill those in. Give us a sentence or two about how that's going to be challenging, and then a sentence or two about how that's going to be doable for you in 20 or 21 days. I'm actually going to pause so you can do just that right now. Great job. On to our next thing. Now, the next thing you need to know is we're going to be doing book clubs. Okay, so you're like, what? Book clubs? How? Don't worry, we're going to get it all figured out. What I'm going to do is this page right here, this thing, I'm actually going to link it. It's right down here. It's already linked in the comments or right there in the description. So please click on that. Take a look at your class's 5 book club choices. And also don't forget, make sure that you click on rank your favorites for your class because that's how you go ahead and choose which book you want. If you don't do that, I can't get you the book you want. And I want you to read what you want. So I'm actually going to pause, go ahead and take a look at your class's 5 book choices. Go ahead and rank your top 5 on that Google form, and I'll get the book that you're hoping for. Excellent. On to our next thing. So for our very next thing, what I'd love for you to do, go ahead and go to task number 2 on your new task list playlist number 2 right here, and let me kind of walk you through what's going to happen. So we're going to choose a category, and you're probably thinking, what do you mean category? Well, for our next writing piece, we're going to enter the Scholastic Writing Contest, which is the nation's most premier, famous, and prestigious writing competition that you can enter. Grade 612. It is the writing competition. I'm so excited. We're going to prepare a piece for entry that you get to write, and this is the fun part, whatever the heck you want in whatever the heck genre you want. You have some fun with this one, right? So this work is like, sweet, so what can I do? So this is where we're actually going to go and take a look at the categories. The first category that you could write in is actually a critical essay, and this is kind of an argumentative or persuasive essay. So for this, you find an issue in our society that you think needs to change, and you write a paper that uses research-based evidence, your own logic, and your own writing skills to try and convince your reader that actually this issue does need to change. Flash fiction, I'm actually going to come back to. I'll circle back to that one. Humor, if you're funny, and if you actually are, write something funny. 500 to 3,000 words, could be a parody, could be whatever you want. Have some fun with some humor. Personal essay memoir, of course, you can go write about a moment in your life that changed you, or you can go ahead and write about a topic about your life, and this would be more for personal essay, a topic about your life that has changed the way in which you see the world. 500, 3,000 words, feel free to use research to throw in there as well. When it comes to poetry, heads up, if you want a really short writing piece, this could be it. You just need a minimum of 20 lines of poetry. You could do anywhere between 1 to 5 different poems. And so if you just do one poem that's 20 lines long, that's totally fine. You could also do a collection of poems. You could do 3, 4, 5 different poems. They could be related, they could be different, they could be completely separate, totally up to you. Max number of 200 lines for your entire collection. You could do science fiction fantasy. Go ahead and write your story about time travel or aliens or space or dragons or whatever the heck you want. Have a great time with it. No fan fiction, meaning you can't go ahead and borrow someone else's worlds or ideas or characters. You have to create your own. 500 to 3,000 words. And let me now go ahead and talk about the difference between short story and flash fiction. Short story is exactly what you remember it as and what you think it is. It's a short story that's got a whole plot arc, right? So over that plot arc, right, we've got our initiating event, we've got our characters, we've got our exposition, we kind of rise, and we've got this rising action. We come up to this climax, and then it comes back down because the character is doing something about it. There's resolution, closure, and the end of the story. When it comes to flash fiction does not have an arc. Flash fiction just has that one moment on the arc. That's it. So you don't necessarily have the initiating event, the exposition. You don't necessarily have the climax. You don't necessarily have the resolution. It's just a moment on that arc, somewhere on that arc. So that's the difference. Short story is a fully developed story from beginning to end, 500 to 3,000 words. Flash fiction is just a moment in time, normally very tense moment in time, up to 1,000 words. You can't go over it. Anywhere under that is okay. So these are your categories. So what I'm going to actually ask you to do right now is go ahead and in that first yellow box, go and write down the category you think you're going to try. You can change this later if you want. And then the second yellow box, give us 1 to 2 sentences why, even if you're like, it's the shortest one. Who cares? Write it down. You know I'm going to pause so you can actually do this right now. Excellent. So here's what I want you to do. Here's your next step, right? So now I want you to go ahead and click on the link for your category. You're going to notice that there's a link for each category, and each of these links takes you to an example piece that is written by an 8th or 9th grader. So 14-year-old, 13 or 15-year-old that won last year nationally, like beat out hundreds of thousands of other kids across the country in your genre. And we want you to go ahead and read that. Read your example piece. And then if you're like, oh, I don't really like this genre. Cool, go ahead and start over, pick a new genre, try that. If you do like your genre, that's step number 3, then hey, go on to the example text tips. What we want you to do in this box is actually pretty simple. Go ahead and write down the title and the author of the piece that you read, but then also write down 5 things that author did in their piece to make it good enough to win. Did they include dialogue? Did they include imagery? Were they actually funny? Did they include thoughts and feelings for your characters? Whatever it is that you thought that they did that worked really, really well, 5 things that you thought helped them win, go and put them there. You know, here's the pause. Do it. Excellent. So this is what we were looking at for Learning Lab. Finish up task number 2, so read that piece and complete the example text tips. Go ahead and get started on your new reading goal. So if you need to go to LCPS Go, or if you need to go ahead and find any books from the library, or check out this link, I'll also put it down here in the description. Go to town, find some books, and if you want to start drafting, you can start drafting. But that should do it for us. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Otherwise, good luck. You got this.